All right, so welcome back. And in the previous lessons, we have covered the basic usage of Firebase, which is a very cool and simple database to use and be able to be integrated in our Flutter app development. And then we showed you how to do the app, the data reading, writing, and also how do we do the real-time updating. Right? So we show you this list of friends here, and all the friends record has been saved in the Firebase database as kind of a tree type of structure, or we call it a hash table, a huge hash table where you have a key and also all the value. Right? Whenever you want to read and write, you want to make sure you know where the location you want to read and write, the key, and then the Firebase will give you all the value. Right? So that's basically what we have so far. And then in this application, we have a list view here that loads all the data from friends list here. For example, I'm going to make a very quick change here to change the number into 9999 and hit enter. And then immediately this friend list has been updated. Right? So that's what we have so far. All right. So from today, I'm going to turn this example into a more complete example. Since we're talking about this friend list, right? So we will try to make a messaging app, a very typical social medium app. All right, so here's the design of the app I drafted. All right, so I want to make something really simple to use, but the functionality is professional enough for you to see how to use Flutter to make a regular professional app. So we start with the login and sign up screen, and then which we already have. Okay, so it's already being integrated with the Firebase database, and then we also want to build a friend list view. That's basically what we have right now in the app here. All right, so you can see all the list of friends, and then we don't want to do the add friend type of feature. We'll just assume that whoever have been signed up will all show up. So we'll all be loading from Firebase database. But then if you know how to do that, you can always turn it into something that you control who will be our friends. And then we want to be able to implement the chatting. Okay, so when you start to chat, you can have two different ways to chat. You can click on one of the friends to chat. You can also click on a button at the bottom. Maybe we can use the floating action button to start a group chat where everybody can chat together. And then no matter which button you click on, you're going to go into the messaging view where you see the list view that contains a list of messages. And at the bottom, you got a very basic and typical chatting view where you can type your message in text and also click on a button to send it. And then this messaging view is real time, so everyone can see the messaging coming in at real time immediately. All right, so that's kind of the app we're going to try to make. Now, the first lesson, we'll actually try to focus on how do we build a user profile and through the login and sign up. All right, so let me kind of show you again what we have so far for the login. So if I go all the way back, so this is our login screen, right? We already have it. And then if you want to sign up, you click on the button here to sign up. And then once you finish logging or sign up, you can actually go to the main screen, which is the friend list view we just saw. All right, so let's just start the first thing to improve for this part, which is the profile information. So right now the friend has all the name and phone number and the type of phone number, a little bit icon information that's been saved in Firebase. All right, so that's what we're loading from here, and then this one can be updated. But right now this profile information is just some kind of a dummy data we put. And then ideally the user who signed up the account should have inputted this information, which we don't have yet. So let me actually go back here. So ideally, when we're signing up here, okay, besides putting your email and password, you should also put your name, and you should also put a phone number and also a type of phone number right here so that you can put all this profile information. Otherwise, the friend list don't know what to show, right? So think about whenever you sign up something, you're always asked to be typing something else, your phone number, address, all those information. So this is the first step we need to change, right? So we're gonna come back to the app. Okay, let's make the UI change first. So we're talking about this sign up page right here. All right, so which we already have, and then we already have a couple of input box text field here, right? All we need to do is just add more, right? So I'm gonna copy paste this too. So this is for email, this is for password, And as I mentioned, I need a name, I need a phone number, okay? And maybe we also can do a type. So let's worry about the type later on. So let's put name, and then here is a phone number, okay? And then we can also do the, let me actually rerun the app first, refresh it. All right, so right here. And then this time, as you can see, okay, we start to see this little yellow bar here, which we also saw in the login screen. Maybe let's take some time to fix it. Now, whenever this happens, it just means that the space you allocated for this area is not enough. Okay, let's kind of recap, because this one here is a vertical column layout. And then we gave some weights. The image at the top take 25%, and then the text field in the middle have 50%, where the icons at the end, I think, has 10%. Okay, so that's how we assign all the different spaces, right? But this is not actually adds up to 100, so we probably need to give more space here in the middle. That's basically the problem. You only gave 50, it's not really 50%, more than 50% right here. However, the buttons, we got all the size here, the font size, and they also have some of the margin here, top, below. So they take more space than we gave. That's why this one is kind of going over. Just give you some kind of warning here, right? So in order to fix it, first of all, we can give a little bit more space. I think this one here probably deserves more space. So 60, I'll give 60%. Let's try that one. So it's getting a little bit better. And then, but then this one here got less, right? And also the bottom part, we can actually reduce the bottom part space, because the bottom icons just not very important. So we can give 5, see what it looks like. All right, so that looks slightly better. And then let's also fix the image here. We didn't actually cover that. So right here, you know, because the space here is less, and then the image right now, as you can see, also being shrink, and it's not really taking the whole width of the screen. Now, the main cause of this one is that this image itself is just not wide enough to cover it. Okay, so let's actually try to find like a wide image, see if that works better. So I'm gonna do a background, so sign up background. All right, so this is kind of a random one, right? We'll just do, maybe try this one. This one looks professional. All right, so see if this one can be any better. I'm gonna copy the image address, coming back to the app. Let's just first try, okay? Just getting a wider image. Now if you refresh this one here, and then that did fix the problem. And so that's one type way to fix it. Or if you have really the smaller size, then you could actually, we already did the cover field or cover. Either way, it can actually help you to kind of scale your image to fit it. But if that still doesn't work, you might need to manually set the image width to be as wide as the screen. There's also a way to do that. So I'm not going to show too much about the details, because all of these little issues, whenever you see it, you just have to Google and find out the right solution. All right, so here I just want to talk about one possibility, which is just to use the wider image, because otherwise when you try to scale it, it cannot cover that with the right width and height. All right, so that's one little issue, and it looks like we also fixed that one here. And there are 4 attributes for edit box, so we need actually 2 more controller. So we need a name controller. We also need a phone controller, right? And then right down here, let's actually also put, okay, one. This is name, and this is phone controller, right? And then for the phone, maybe we also want to choose the type of the phone. And then in that case, I think there may be different ways we can think about. We can try a little, maybe a radio button, or we can do a drop down button. So let's actually Google a little bit to see which one to use. Okay, Flutter radio button. See if that's actually easy to implement. All right, radio class, just Google it and see if there are any examples here. It doesn't show up. See the sample code, and here they use something called radio, and it would be nice to actually see a little example. and it's not really showing here. So let's look at the code here, and there's one radio, there's another one. Okay, so they basically actually use some kind of column here as a vertical, like just like a list view, and they put the two items together here for the video. Okay, so that's one way. Okay, let's actually look at if there are better examples that we can see, and so that's easier to follow. Okay, this is definitely a better example. Actually, let's see how that works. And okay, so it looks like if you want to do that, you got a video, radio, and then text, radio, and text. All right, so it looks like they're like a split. So you make a row with all the radio and text just to display the text, and the radio has some kind of value here, right? So different radio button has different value. All right, so that actually looks promising. And then how do we actually get the value once it's selected? So let's see if the app actually gave us anything basic how to get the value. Okay, let's actually try this one. Okay, this one looks pretty straightforward. So there's a row here. Okay, let's play around with this little UI component here. So coming back to my app, and I'm going to try to add a radio button. So down here, I'll do a row. Okay, and then row has the children, and then it will have a radio and text, right? So just like this. So let's do a radio. Looks like radio has a value. The first one is 0, and there is a group value. Group value, which is a variable. Okay, so I think this group value records which value has been selected. Let's try this one. So you basically have defined a variable at the top somewhere, and that didn't show us, but I think it is just a variable. So let's actually define a group value right here. Okay, let's actually start to play around with this and then see how it works. All right, so what else do we need? We need an unchanged. Oh, this one here. So we basically have an unchanged listener. So every time when you click on something changed, and the listener will be called, and then that's when we actually record the value. And then they did not provide the unchanged code. All right, so let's actually see the entire code can be found from here. Let's just see the example so that we can better understand the idea here. So min dart. Okay, so all right, so these are the handle the change. So basically we just look at the radio value here. Okay, so all right, so I think we got the idea. Let's actually see how it works. All right, so changed, and then we're gonna call it like a radio value changed. Right, just one method, and then we need to write this method somewhere. Okay, so I'm gonna put it to the top here. So it's just a function. We'll just print, the radio value changed. Let's just see how that one works. All right, radio value changed. Do we need to provide? Actually, go back to the example right here. Value changed, and they need a specific type. Right, so let's actually see the right definition for this one here. Oh, actually, I think you need a value, and also you need a return type void. All right, so let's turn that. So this one should be void, and also I think you need a value here. Okay, so I think that's what they're looking for. All right, so now we are finishing the radio, and why this one is still complaining? Let's see here, radio here. And check out the code here. Okay, so that's the integer. Okay, is that because of the integer? Okay, so let's actually turn that into integer. All right, so that did fix it. Okay, so anyway, let's do this one first, and then come back to see how the radio button works. Okay, just put the layout first. So let's actually refresh the code, and it looks like we are getting a little thing here, and then you can click, and then whenever you click on that, and then something gonna call, right? So we'll come back to see how to make the change. All right, so followed by that, we have the text. The text, I'm gonna do the type of phone, right? So we can do a cell phone, work, or home. Okay, All right, so that's how it works. Cell phone. All right, so with that, I'm gonna copy and paste. I'm gonna do that for 3. So the second one is the value is 1, and then 2, and then the second one is work. Last one is the home. Refresh that, and we got it, right? So if we want to put that all center, right? I think we can do some kind of alignment here. We'll call it main axis alignment, and then we do the center, and then refresh, and it goes to the center, right? All right, so that's kind of pretty straightforward. I think we're gonna do this one for now. Okay, so now you can actually select these ones, and then it will actually trigger the button. Now it triggered the function. Now from the function, I assume that we can grab the actual value being selected. So let's actually try to print it here. So let's just print the value to see if that actually shows us 0, 1, 2, right? So this one here is 0, and this is the 1, and that is 2, right? So it's pretty straightforward. That's how it works. And then also I think this value probably also store the data. But anyways, this is a very easy to use widget. The only thing I'm not sure is why the thing is not selected when we click on that, right? So let's actually see if there's anything else we're missing from this example, and maybe somewhere here, right? So set state. Oh, we actually had to set state. So if you select this one, this one here actually controls which one is being selected, right? So we have to update that value. So all right, so the callback here value has the one you're clicking. Once you click on that, you have to actually change the internal state, which is the group value. All right, and then you want to make sure that you notify the UI change. All right, so let's try that one. All right, now we click on this one here. It's selected, selected, selected. So that's how it works. All right, so pretty straightforward. Okay, so now we got all of this, and then what we want to do next is, by the way, the button looks kind of big here. Okay, so let's kind of narrow down the button a little bit. So where's the button? Button right here. So we got the height and width here, right? So the height, I think, is too much. All right, so something like this probably looks better. All right, so now we can type the email, try it, password, name, and also we got a phone number. Okay, this is another issue here, right? So we are, doing the view, and then the keyboard actually hide it, and you can't really go inside to type. All right, so I think there are also different reasons that this one has been caused. I think one of the reasons also is because we are fixing all the space here, that the email and some of these attributes here, you just can't type it unless you actually hide the soft keyboard, right? So in order to solve that, we need to actually to Google a little bit, okay, see if there's a good solution. Maybe to turn this into a scrollable view or something else. Okay. All right. So after some searches, I actually did find a solution to solve this issue. So basically, right now the issue is we have all these boxes here. You click and then it's actually hiding the bottom one. You can't really scroll and then type the next attributes, right? So to solve that problem, I think we should actually make this view scrollable, right? So that's why we were introducing something called a single child scroll view. It's right here. Let's actually add it. So I'm going to wrap the whole thing into a single view scroll widget, single child scroll view. That way this one will become a kind of a scroll view. But then once you add this one, okay, it automatically cause a lot of errors. And then when you read these errors, and then you can start to kind of realize that this view has something, there's something kind of conflict with the height constraint, especially when we're using all the expanded, and somehow this one conflict with this one. All right, so to solve this one, okay, I did some of the search, and then looks like this is one kind of answer, that if you do use expanded, and if you still want to use the single child scroll view, you do have to make some constraints to make sure what's the height you can use. And in this case, look at, we're just trying to make the height to be the maximum. All right, something like this. So I Googled and then debugged a little bit, and this is a solution that works. So I will actually use this one. So we basically need to, for the column, we need to add something called constraint boxes. All right, so I'm going to go here for the column, and then we're going to add another constraint box. All right, so that's one part here. For the constraint box, you need to add something called constraints. For constraints, we're going to add a box constraint which specify the height. All right, from here, and then we refresh the screen, and then this one works. And then right now you can't see this one in the scroll view, but if you once you start to type the address here, as you can see now, you can actually go up. All right, so that's how it works. It will not cause that problem anymore. Okay, so now we got a Signup view and a nice look. All right, so to do this one more time, I think we had a similar issue for the login screen, as you can see. So if I want to do this one for the same for login, all right, so we could actually also first of all make this one as a child of single child scroll view, and then from there we can just add this again with something called a constraint box constraint view, or constraints. Let's see what we are using the other one, constraint box. Okay, so constraint box, you need to do some constraints, and the constraints will just do the box constraint that heights, specify the heights. All right, so refresh. All right, so now you click on this one, you don't have this problem anymore. Right, and then you can even scroll and then see the other things. All right, so it's just one kind of quick fix that solved this problem about the UI and login and sign up button and not showing, and also other attributes don't show it. Right, so that's kind of one part here we need to do first. Okay, just to simply modify the UI, especially for the sign up here, because this one is more complicated, and then that's what we need to do. All right, so once we finish UI, we can then start to work on the actual writing the profile information to the actual database. All right.